Talking about all that has transpired in the aftermath of the announcement of the Presidential and National Assembly outcome by INEC. We have in the studio a member of the APC, Danjuma Mohammed, to react to what looked like an outright rejection of his party's victory at the presidential poll. Thank you so much for joining us, Danjuma, on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
Yes. Well, a lot really has happened since the announcement of the Presidential and National Assembly elections. A lot of people from the opposition, for instance, the PDP, the Labour Party, have rejected the election results. Yesterday we saw a protest by the PDP to say that, look, we are not accepting this result and we are calling for the cancellation of this result. How long do we have to deal with this, and how much of a burden is it for your party, given the fact that the major contenders in this poll are yet to concede to defeat?
Well, in the first place, I want to tell you that it's a tradition in this country, even though it is a negative tradition, that at the end of every election you have civil disputes here and there over the election, and also you have legal contestation. And also, having said that, if they are not doing this at all, then it will be un-Nigerian of them, not to have done this. We know that the election went free and fair. In fact, it is one of the elections that will go down in history as the fairest and the freest in this country. And whatever they are talking about has to do with their limited knowledge of the provisions of the Act that governs the electoral process in this country.
Mr. Danjuma, you talked about free and fair election, yes. But that is what the two major parties that are contesting the results as they are saying it is not free and fair. And one of the reasons they have given is the inability of the INEC to upload the result as was promised by INEC before the elections.
INEC actually uploaded the results, but is it what they expect?
In real time, while the elections were ongoing.
In good time. And the provision.
No, it's not good time, Mr. Danjuma.
In real time and in good time, they are different.
Sorry, in real time. In real time is not simultaneously. You see, INEC was just being innovative by bringing out that as an additional, kind of provision for transparency as uploading. It is not a provision of the Electoral Act. But while doing that, INEC too must be conscious of the fact that it should not be seen to have breached or encouraged a breach of the Section 25 of the Electoral Act that exclusively confines the right and powers to declare and announce election results on the returning officers. So you cannot expect INEC to begin to receive and simultaneously post before declaration. It will be a gross contravention of that act. But INEC has its own wisdom to a kind of, to determine what real time means. But in my own wisdom, I would say real time is within the period allowed for, electoral arbitration. I mean, you have 7 days within which results can be announced, reviewed, and complaints can be received by INEC and all that. But having said that, what we are saying is that the parties have agents. That's a provision. That is, in fact, that is a limit the Electoral Act gave the political parties in terms of monitoring the results. If you don't trust your agent, then you are on your own. That is your problem.
So here is it now. We've watched on live TV where party agents raised complaints about certain results in some places. And they were told to wait for the collation to be done with. In some instances, they were not really listened to. They were not, the concerns or the complaints that they are talking about was not looked into. Instead, what happened was that after the whole collation, the party agents were told to go to court. This is a commission that has the powers, like you mentioned, to review concerns raised. But in this case, we didn't see that happen.
No, they couldn't have taken complaints at that point because the complaints they are raising are complaints meant for post-election procedure. Go to the Electoral Act, it's very clear. Once elections are on, particularly at that very, very delicate stage, because those who designed the law envisaged the fact that politicians and political parties could be crafty and mischievous to even bring delays through complaints and all that. So all that are post-election procedure. The INEC chairman, who happens to be the chief returning officer, could not have jettisoned.
Did the provision says that election will be declared before complaints will be looked into?
Exactly. All the complaints are meant to come under the procedure. That is post-election procedure, not while the declaration is on. I mean, it's too crucial. It's too crucial for the electoral process.
All right.
In fact, if you go back because of what happened in June 12th, the powers of INEC, to ensure that it is not distracted by any of these complaints is solidified by the Constitution and by the Electoral Act. You cannot come from anywhere, not even a court injunction at that point.
All right, Mr. Danjuma.
Yes.
INEC made a promise on several occasions that they were going to upload this result. They made this promise.
Yeah, exactly.
As a member of the APC, even the APC, people want to know why it didn't happen. Even the APC, are you not concerned? Don't you want to know why this didn't happen?
They did it. They uploaded immediately after that is the winner of the election was
they didn't.
The whole idea. Excuse me.
After.
The essence of uploading, like I said, already the Electoral Act is very clear that all results be entered into the National Electronic Register for Election Results. That is the name. It's supposed to be an electronic file, a database, a electronic repository, for all these results. That was the limit of the Electoral Act. But like I said, INEC simply went ahead, to bring in that innovation of uploading to the portal. Fine. The whole idea of uploading to the portal is to a kind of further notify or take election results to the knowledge of the public. But you cannot do that while
you haven't answered the question. Mr. Danjuma, the question I ask is, if you make a promise, and you are not able to deliver, people will expect some form of explanation. This was what happened.
Go to the portal. No, they do not need. Are you with me? They do not need to make excuses then, because there was no breach, even in their own promise. They uploaded what people expected, or what the agents expected, was for them to upload the portal simultaneously. There's no place, not even in INEC rules or the Electoral Act, where the word simultaneously is used. Because if you do that, you're going to encourage the announcement of results from different quarters, and this is going to create confusion.
Okay, then Juma, the whole idea, the IREF, they call it INEC Results Viewing Portal, isn't it? Exactly. The essence of having a viewing portal is to have give some kind of confidence to the Nigerian people, to the electorate, that this is what you voted, and this is what we have, and that's what we are working with. So that it gives you some kind of confidence that, the process is transparent, right? A lot of people are questioning the transparency of this process, and which is why others also have said, look, what we had at the polling units is not what we are seeing on the IREF, which is a contradiction. Don't you think that that's a dent on the credibility of an institution like INEC that a lot of people should see and have some level of confidence that this is an institution that is doing the bidding of Nigerians?
No, I don't see it that way. In the first place, excuse me, those who see the election as not being transparent certainly do not include the majority of Nigerians that elected, our president. Having said that, the issue of a dent on the image of INEC or it's not so. There is no perfect election anywhere in the world. The whole essence of displaying the results at the portal is for you to see, compare notes, and once you find discrepancies, you take it up legally. It's simple.
All right, Mr. Danjuma.
Take it off legally.
Mr. Danjuma,
yes, but INEC is not a perfect commission. We have like the offsets we recorded in areas where we least expected to lose election. We have lot of complaints as APC. That is in those areas too. Things did not go perfectly there, but the law is very clear. Even by previous judgments from Supreme Court, it's very clear. In as much as anomalies recorded in isolated polling units are not enough to affect the total result of the election. I mean, it is just okay.
All right, Mr. Danjuma, is this the final position of APC on this thing? They don't mind that these results were not uploaded. And the reason I ask this is because a lot of people are saying APC is taking this position because they have been declared the winner of the elections. So, and I'm asking this going forward because we're going to have the governorship on Saturday.
Certainly.
If, for instance, there's this particular state you're thinking right now that you're going to win, and there's no upload of the results to the IREV, and you don't win that state, are you going to still say that it's okay that the results were not uploaded? Would that still be the position of APC?
You see, I don't know. You're just trying to commit me to the fact that these results were uploaded. I told you they were uploaded immediately after Professor Yakubu, announced.
Danjuma, the question is, would you be comfortable with a scenario such as she painted, where your party or your party lose in a state that it feels it has an upper hand and it feels that it should win the election in that state, and then there is no result on the RF or whatever, or if it comes later after a winner has been declared, would your party be
would it still be the position of your party?
No, certainly if we notice any irregularity and leading to our failure at any level of election, not even governorship, even if it is state assembly, we will go to court, we will go to the election tribunal. Certainly we're taking it, but we will not behave like these other political parties who are just trying to create confusion within the public opinion. The issue is you go through the process. There are procedures through which election results or even electoral procedures can be protested. You follow the result. I mean, you follow the procedure. That is the decency. I mean, in democracy, you don't just wake up and desire for yourself, ways and means, to protest election results.
Okay,
we will do that. We will protest it, but we'll do it within the ambience of the law.
Okay, are you bothered that going by INEC's own admission that there were flaws in the electoral process, that the victory of the APC probably will be short-lived eventually if the opponents or the opposition goes to the court with the evidence?
Yes, we are very confident that they have no evidence with them. We are very confident also that all the flaws, places where flaws are noticed, we are even against our parties. Because if we should bring forth, let Labour Party, for instance, bring forth the videos of electoral malpractices in Lagos, and let's see who loses once the election in Lagos is nullified. We will still remain at top of the table, and Labour Party will descend further down. So most of the irregularities, particularly the ones in Lagos and that is the southeastern part of the country, were against the APC and the APC candidate. But we are not contesting their right to take the protest to the election tribunal. But what we're saying is that we are confident we have won. We defeated them in the campaigns. We defeat them in the election. We're going to defeat them in the courts. There's no doubt about that. Notwithstanding the magnanimity of the president-elect, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has extended the embrace of one united family to them. But it's okay. They can still go ahead. But we want a free and fair election. To the fact that the upset, this is the first time, there has never been an election in Nigeria that carries this level of upsets. Yes, we had in 2015 where an incumbent president was defeated in the presidential election, but it yet didn't a kind of record these upsets at different stages that we had. We had governors, incumbent governors losing their bids, for the Senate. And this is the first time money were not even used in the election because there was no money in the public.
All right. We have elections on Saturday.
Yes.
As governorship and state assembly elections. And we have all of these contests going up here and there.
Yes.
I mean, is the APC G3?
We're not G3. We are the most, the last time I was here, I told you that we were the most united political party and the most poised to win the elections. And that came to real. We are not G3. Right now, they are rather because they know they're not going to do well in the governorship elections, because most of the sentiments that came for their parties, to support or where the votes they got in the presidential election emanated from will not be there in the governorship election. Because in governorship election, what you have in every state is indigene versus indigene. So it's a different ball game. It's not somebody coming maybe from Lagos contesting election in Kano, or from Kano contesting election in Lagos, or Anambra.
So you're saying there's no form of distraction?
No, we are not distracted. We are very focused. We're going to win more states than these political parties. They have nothing on ground. All they have on ground are emotions and sentiments that certainly will not hold at governorship level. Yes, you can attribute emotions and sentiments at presidential level, knowing fully well that the states you are talking to, the presidential candidate is not from that state. But in governorship, all the gubernatorial candidates are from that same state. So there is nothing you can say against any of them. So we are good to go.
Okay, Danjuma, looking at previous elections, Bola Ahmed Tinubu appears to, looking at the previous elections, he is the least popular among all the people that have won elections in the past. He won 12 states, and he scored 37% of the total votes, which makes him the least popular in terms of national appeal and all that. How will this impact on his governance or his administration?
His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu is an embodiment of national unity. And the issue of being least popular, I don't know what you mean by being least popular. He was the only candidate whose campaign trended on issue base and convictions, on issues relating to the polity. You see, this whole idea, what made this, what do you call, election, looks like, views from, opposition from different zones, was because the two major candidates simply trended on emotions and sentiments. And because Nigerians are easily, a kind of, conveyed along sentimental lines, you see, they went for them because they are either members of their geopolitical zones, they are tribesmen, or people who are from the same religious group with them. Only Bola Ahmed Tinubu, His Excellency, was, distinguished himself from sentiments. Despite their sentiment, you can look at the spread. Go back to previous elections. There hasn't been any presidential contestant that has garnered this kind of spread in a presidential election in Nigeria. Well, I can take that to the bank.
Well,
I'm not talking about lead votes state by state. I'm talking about achieving that number of percentages, national percentage. We call it, let's call it national political average. Is an endorsement of Nigerians from all, zones.
But Danjuma, going back to Ayuba's question, what he adding to what he was asking is, the president-elect won the election with a little over 8 million votes. Now, when you
that's in terms of the
now when you put together the votes of the person who came second, Atiku Abubakar, over 6 million. You put that of the person who came third, Peter Obi, a little over 6 million. When you put that together, that's already over 12 million, which means that the people who voted for your candidate, the people who voted against your candidate are more than those who voted for your candidate. Does that bother your party?
It doesn't really bother us, because I can tell you that if they had even come together, it will not go that way. You know why? Very good. Both candidates, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, His Excellency former Vice President, and His Excellency Peter Obi, are carrying, sentiments that cannot come together. Never. You see, Peter Obi trended on four cardinal sentiments, and I will mention them to you. Peter Obi trended, number one, on the sentiment that, at this age-long clamor for Igbo presidency. So we expect every Igbo man to be carried along that belt. Peter Obi trended on the Christian church's solidarity against the Muslim ticket. Of course, it is not every Christian that will go with that. Thank God at least many Christians voted for our candidates, notwithstanding. Peter Obi trended on the age-long Northern Christian confrontation against the Caliphate. We know that will not work for him. We know the limit of that. Thank God it didn't work. The final one he did, he trended on the Southern Youth Restiveness, which we all know as what do you call it, harsh answers. You see, these sentiments have limited place it can go in terms of determining the outcome of a presidential election. So if you had brought Peter Obi and there is Atiku Abubakar together, of course Atiku will not be the vice president because he already exhausted his right to contest as Nigeria's vice president. He has had 8 years. He will be the president and Peter Obi will be the vice president. And if that happens, most of these sentiments that goes with Peter Obi will not go for the ticket. So that is why we personally do not see them as bringing both of them could have come together and defeated us.
Danjuma, listening to you, it's as though there was no controversy about the same faith ticket. When you talk about other parties or other political parties using sentiments and emotions and the rest of them, it's as though there was never a controversy about same faith ticket in Nigeria. Can the APC actually say or absolve itself from not riding on some of these religious or ethnic sentiments?
Yes,
as well?
APC never ruled on religious or ethnic sentiments. What really happened was that we simply, the issue of the single Muslim ticket was simply a coincidence that emanated from our political strategy. What we strategized upon was simple: how to garner the majority votes in Nigeria, knowing fully well that we have somebody in the person of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar to beat, particularly in the north. And we do know, take it or leave it, the north was the strength of our party. So that was just it. It has nothing to do with demeaning the Christian faith. Not at all.
But you said the calculation, the strategy is all about.
Yes.
Because this is like we are going back to the whole controversy.
The coincidence emanated from.
You said it's all about the strategy to win votes.
To win votes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, and you are looking at the northern region,
where
you have a lot of voters. You have, in fact, the northern region has the highest number of voters in the country, right? Which are predominantly of the Muslim faith.
Certainly,
right? So,
certainly.
If you are anchoring your decision based on that, isn't that riding on religious sentiment?
No, because it is not because Shetima was a Muslim. Shetima represents every other tribe on that ticket, except that's from the north, except the Hausa Fulani. Are you with me? But the fact that he is a Muslim was just a coincidence. But he represents every other northern minority except the Hausa Fulani.
Exactly. So we're still back to the issue of having considerations for ethno-religious leanings.
No.
If you say he represents ethnic groups.
No, excuse me. You see, in politics, there are permutations, whether take it or leave it. That was why, in the first place, our party opted that power should be shifted to the south, knowing fully well that doing so will bring stability to the polity. Now, while you're shifting power to the south, you still need to sustain the confidence of the north.
So
how do you do that?
There's a reason for shifting the power to the south.
Exactly.
It's still out of the desire to kind of give some sense of belonging to other parts of the country, isn't it? Looking at the ethno-religious concerns and the rest of them, isn't it? So it's still within the same thing that we are talking about here. So looking at that, can the APC really say and accuse other political parties of not having such considerations? Since all that you have been explaining is the same as what others have considered too.
No. You see, it is one thing to ensure that in order to maintain balance, geopolitical balance, you bring in somebody from A or B zone. Is one thing.
Why is there a need for a balance? Why is there a need for a balance?
Of course, so that you can have political stability. What I'm saying here, once you have somebody on that ticket, it's a different thing altogether. To now begin to exhume religious differences as a means of campaigning. To now begin to explore or exploit, age-long ethnocentric differences between maybe, two religions or two ethnic groups within. I mean, that was what we never did that. After Shetima emerged as the running mate to His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we went all out for issue-based campaign. But they did not see it that way. The PDP trended in the north mostly on the fact that he is Atiku Abubakar, he's your son, elect him. And like I told you, I had earlier enumerated Obi's own, training on sentimental campaigns. I mean, we have evidence of videos in worship places.
Let's go forward.
But other political parties will not agree.
I think we should move forward. Let's move forward.
Yes, please.
Elections are coming on Saturday. We saw the APC losing some of their strongholds, some of their states. They lost Katsina. The president is from Katsina State, is the leader of the APC. The governor of Katsina State is a member of the APC. They lost Yobe State. The Senate president is from there, Mai Mala Buni is from there, and then we saw them losing Gombe State as well.
State, where the party national chairman.
The party national chairman lost even from his polling unit before losing the state. Now, we have heard that there are some realliances that are going on ahead of the election on Saturday. Yes. What is the APC doing?
No, APC is going about it alone, but like you said, first let me thank you for attesting to the fact that it was not a one-way thing. It was a keenly contested election. Because if there has never been, go back to our national history.
Some people say it was a sign of rejection, though.
Well, sign of rejection in these areas. Yes, you win some, you lose some. It's just it. You win some, you lose some. You want to. I don't know why people are so comfortable with wanting to accept, the decision or the results where we lose as APC, but you contest areas where we won. I mean, if we are matured enough to accept that yes, we lost in some areas, then we should equally be respected, and allowed to hold on to our victories in areas where we won. The defeats you just mentioned are clear attestation to the fact that the elections were free and fair. But coming to your question about alliances, yes, you see, immediately after the reception of the return, what do you call it? The certificate of return to His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he just went back to the drawing board to see, to make amends where there need to be amends, and we're still working on them to ensure that we win all these states you just mentioned. We retain them because they are our states originally. We retain them at the governorship election level. And all the same, I can assure you that these same political parties, particularly PDP and LP, will still be the ones to wail after the elections. Yes, but my advice to them, to the political parties, let me give this advice because being a former national chairman of a political party, we should stop sending people who are novice, people who do not really have, grasp of the electoral rules and laws, to liaise with INEC. It's not good on the side of political parties. I mean, we should send people who are grounded in the management of political parties, to liaise on behalf of our candidates and our parties. Because, for instance, it just has no knowledge of political party management. No, I mean, I'm being real. It's just a political office contestant. Yes.
Okay, moving forward, the candidate of your party has been announced the president-elect.
Alhamdulillah.
So, which areas is he going to start?
Wow. He said it over and over again. The first thing is to hit the ground running.
In which area?
Security. That is number one. It's key. Security. And he's already into it. Security. Yes, so, and the second thing is to keep running. But security of life and property is first of the essence at this point in time. And that is the focus of his presidency. Then after that, every other thing will join.
Are we going to witness delays in?
Certainly no delay. No, I mean, easy. I mean, we should. The truth of the matter is that we should give it to the outgoing president. He is not a politically minded individual like the president-elect. The president-elect has worked towards this political bridge building and relationship for over 40 years. I mean, even in sleep, even wake Asiwaju up, His Excellency, while sleeping, he will right there and right there tell you, list numbers of all his ministers and his ambassadors, because he has them already with him, and together we went to campaign with them. They too were there. Some of them even are governors.
So as we speak, you are saying that all the cabinet members for the next administration are already on ground.
They are known only to His Excellency the President.
So we are not going to see a repeat of what happened
no, certainly, no,
where we didn't have cabinet members for 6 months.
No, certainly not. Certainly not, because His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows that we do not have that that liberty of time, to waste on this issue, particularly the issue that is at the center of his heart, which is security. For that reason, I want to assure you that Nigerians will see, the list of the cabinet members, in record time.
One group that was not particularly, in support of your candidate is the youth, and I know when in accepting his acceptance speech, that's your candidate now, the president-elect, he said to the youth that I hear you loud and clear. Are there some programs? Do you see him bringing youth into the cabinet, and do you see him coming up with some programs that will be targeted towards the youth?
You see, exactly. I see him doing all that. You see, the truth of the matter is that, think of just one policy, the idea that he brought in the 80 pages manifesto, which we campaigned upon, that there would be student loan. Who was he talking to? He was talking to the youth. Obi doesn't have such in his program. Atiku doesn't have such in his in his own program either. So the truth is that there is no candidate that has the youth in the center of his perception for national development like the president-elect. This is certainly going to be a youthful administration that is led by an elder with wisdom. Certainly. There is no, and talking about rejection by the youths, you see, I won't take that from anyone. It's a section of the Nigerian youths. In the north, most of our votes in the north for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu came from the youths. So, and that was why I said that part of the sentiment that the LP candidate trended upon was that phenomenon of restiveness of the southern youths. Fine, you call it NSAS. There's a disconnect between NSAS as it is in Lagos and what you have as the youthful drive in northern Nigeria completely. Most of our votes, they were there for us as polling agents. They were there for us. They were our canvassers. I mean, imagine what happened before the general election when this money swap policy came in. The youths were those who, when they took time to go into the rural areas in the north, particularly the northwest, to further a kind of enlist the people's understanding that, look, please do not, leave our candidate because of this. Okay. And ABC will be done immediately after winning elections.
So, talking about security, one other issue that has lingered is the issue of having some kind of arrangement for police at the subnational level. Some will call it community policing or state policing or whatever. What is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu going to do about the issue of policing, effective policing?
If this issue, because if I have to sit down and begin to tell the details, it will take too much of our time. It is contained in our manifesto that effective policing will be ensured. Even the police command will be structured in a way it will become more active, and more relative to the communities, because that is what matters. What matters here is not a situation whereby you bring maybe, because police cannot succeed without the cooperation of the community where they are meant to secure. And not only police, you have several other security agents that are supposed to work with the police. So the president-elect has put it as a kind of drafted down a program that will ensure, interagency cooperation, and also, police community relation. Very perfect one that will ensure, effective or timely nipping, crimes in the bud.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Because of time, we would have to end our discussion at this point. We do appreciate. We look forward to having you again on the program.
Thank you.